Hi, and welcome to Homeschool 101. I figured the best place to do a video for homeschooling would be where else but at my home. So here I am, I'm outside on the front porch and the sun is going down. It's getting a little chilly out, so I got my scarf on, but figured this will be a good place to talk to you guys about homeschooling. So I know homeschooling seems to be a big topic these days, and the biggest thing that I hear a lot from people who aren't homeschooling yet is, well, like, and who are interested in homeschooling is, well, what do I do? How do I get started? I started doing some research on homeschooling, and there seems to be so much out there, and I just don't know where to start. I just feel so overwhelmed. What do I do? Oh, help. But oddly enough, I would have to say, one of the first things, first let me rewind. I'll let you guys know a little bit about myself regarding the homeschool arena. I have, as you know, I have children who are going to be 18. I have an 8-year-old and a now 4-year-old. And ever since my oldest, my 18-year-old, was a baby, I knew I wanted to homeschool. At that time, I was single. I was working full-time as a nurse, working night shift, and it's like, how the heck does anybody homeschool and single? I mean, for all you women out there who are single, or all you dads out there who are single and who are homeschooling your kids and working full-time, holy smokes, like, high five to you. I can't do 2 thumbs up because the other one's holding the selfie stick, but here you go. 1 thumb, here you go. 2 thumbs up. That takes a lot to do, because not only are you a full-time parent and you're the full-time financial provider, but you're now also the full-time teacher. So that, and for you to decide to take that on is just, I mean, that's just awesome. Like I said, for all you single dads out there who are doing that, I think you should tell more people out there, more women out there, that you're doing that, because they would probably fall in love with you instantly and you will not be single anymore. So, yeah, and did you know that this is also a dating channel? So my background, I wanted to homeschool. I was a single mom with 1 child at that time, and I knew I wanted to homeschool because I knew that was, for me, I felt that was the best thing for a child. But I honestly didn't know how to swing it. As a, like I said, I was working as a nurse, full-time nights. I'm like, I just needed sleep. That's all I cared about. It was just like, just get me to sleep. Just get me some rest so I could sleep and I can go back to work and, be functioning and be sane. So trying to throw, homeschooling into that, just, like I said, I didn't know how to do it. So I didn't want to half butt it, I wanted to full, dive in full force and really do it. I didn't want to just, I didn't want to skimp on my kid. So I just didn't do it. So now, a decade later, I'm married, I got 2 more kids, and, I let my husband know that I wanted to homeschool. And actually at that time I had 1 more child, and I let him know that I wanted to homeschool, and he was like, oh, great. I didn't know you wanted to, because I was like Miss Career Woman, doing nursing and stuff. So I did homeschooling. So I started homeschooling my now 8-year-old. I started homeschooling her when she was 2. She was 2 years old when I started. And I said when I started, so I've been homeschooling now full-time, for 6 years. And it is just, and now I'm also, homeschooling high school. So now I have a big range. I've been homeschooling since nursery school. I've been homeschooling nursery school, preschool, kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, now 3rd grade, and also high school. So I've been homeschooling my son high school. He did a year in middle school, and then he did his last, I think it was like 2 or 3 years of high school. So I have a nice little, nice little variety background. So my scope spans, like I said, from nursery school all the way through high school. So, doing his transcript now and, getting that all finalized and all that good jazz, talking about graduation and diplomas and all that, things like that. So, and I tried it all. I tried, I didn't say I tried it all, but I tried a little variety of different things so I can get a good sense of really what this whole homeschooling thing is. I started off with, actually with going to an accredited school that like gives you the curriculum. They have teachers who you send your work to, and the teachers grade it. So if you have any questions too, the teachers are there to talk with you. So they do have things like that. I did that for like my first year, because again, I didn't know what I was doing, and I'm like, well, I want to make sure I know what I'm doing. So after I did that, during that year, I kept looking at other curriculum and looking at other ways to homeschool. So now, 6 years later, and several different age levels of homeschooling, now my style is more eclectic. It's more of an unschooling style. It's more of like living books, life. I mean, I don't just stick to one thing. Like there's some people who are just like full force unschoolers. There are some people who are full force, curriculum. Others, I kind of do a hodgepodge of it all, because I think you get I just feel that you just get a wonderful variety and a great sense of yourself in the world when you use a lot of different media, a lot of different ways, like I said, unschooling, and going to the library and getting living books, and actually just one book. I mean, it was amazing. We were doing with my daughter just like about a couple of months ago. I was doing a we were reading books, so we were reading biographies. So we got biography, and in the biography there was just, oh, somebody's coming. Hi, sweetie, look, it is the beautiful Juliana. Just doing a little vlogging, sweetie. Okay. Hey, sweetie. See, so the beauty. Oh, I was saying. Oh yeah. So I got, we got the book, and the book had it was so rich in history, and oh my goodness, it was amazing. So we got, in the one book, we not only learned about this person in time, this true person, this real life living person. We also learned about history, and then geography, and then it was just so much. It was so intense. And then we did like a little play. She had to do a little play, so she did, now she's doing crafts, and she had to come up with it. So she made these. I ended up I should have kept it. I didn't think I was going to do this in the video, but she took little toilet paper rolls, and we have like all these like craft materials and things like that, and clothing and stuff like that. My goodness. We have all this craft material and things like that, and clothing. So she cut them up, and she made the toilet paper rolls into the characters of the book. And she did their hair, she did the clothing the way that their clothing is supposed to look during that period of time. And then she did a play, and I had her do the play for like everybody in the house. So that way, because my husband was at work. So she first did it talking with me, and then like narrating. Then she did it with her sister, and then she did it with myself, her sister, little Daisy. Daisy sees a doggy jogging in the street. And then with her brother, and then when Dad came home, then she did it with him too. So it just kept reinforcing everything that she read in the book and everything she remembered. And it was amazing, the details that she remembered, because she took her time to do the details in making these characters. So, there's just a lot of different ways that you could do this. The Charlotte Mason, I do a lot Charlotte Mason style too. Nature studies, so we don't just only do nature studies. We will encompass a lot of different styles and different ways, because I want them to just have this richness in their education. So, that's why I don't stick to one particular style, because I want her to get used to, okay, I want her to be able to just, if you're at a desk and somebody says, hey, I need you to take this 3-hour test, I want her to be able to sit down and take a 3-hour test and she's okay. If she's outside and she has to, whatever, if she's, biologist or whatever she ends up being, that she's able to do that also. And she can figure out and have good critical thinking skills and to be able to handle a variety of different situations. So hence, why I do a variety of different ways and different methods of homeschooling. I'm sure, if you're new to homeschooling, a lot of the words that I'm throwing out are probably, like gibberish to you. Like, what's unschooling? What's Charlotte Mason? What is this? Oh my goodness, she's confusing me more. I thought this was gonna be helpful, but you're confusing me. But, as you go along, you'll hear these lingos and learn a little bit more about them. But I would have to say to you, newbie want to homeschoolers, is first and foremost, before you do anything, you really feel like you want to homeschool, then take a deep breath, throw out all your ideas of what schooling is supposed to be, your concept of schooling, because our concept, if you've only been to public school your whole life, then your concept of school is, like my concept of school before I started homeschooling was, sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day and staring at somebody just lecturing you all day long, and while you're writing down a whole bunch of notes, and then you go home and then you review your notes and you're like, oh my goodness, really? And then you have another 2 hours of homework and you're just finishing it up just so you can not, so you can hand it in and not get, an X for the day because you didn't turn in your homework. But you're not really, we've learned, but we didn't really, because I don't want to bash public school. That's not the case at all. Like, I'm not one of those people. I'm not a public school basher. I'm not like, you have to homeschool your kids because the public school sucks. Oh my God. It's just, it's horrendous. Keep them home, please, for the love of God. It's like, no, because, look at me. I'm a nurse. I went to public school. I went to, a public, college. I went to several colleges. So, and then those weren't at home online. That was at a college I went to. So, obviously there obviously is good in public school system, but why I like to homeschool, I particularly like homeschooling because it gives your child a chance to be who they are instead of what the government and the school system says that they're supposed to be. Like how we all have to go through these standardized tests. It's like, we all have to learn these certain things in a certain way. It's like, well, meanwhile, I'm learning so much. I hated history, and all my friends out there know, and I know you're laughing right now watching this, because all my friends know that I would rather jump in front of a truck and get run over than read or do anything related to history. History, in my opinion, sucks balls. I hate history. Because everything that I find in history, it always ends in somebody dying and people annihilating races, annihilating cultures, and killing massive amounts of people for their gain. And it's like everywhere. It's like no matter where you look, like you look in, Europe, you look in, wherever, you look at Polish people, look at the Irish people, you look at African Americans, you look at Native Americans, you're like, oh my God, get this history away. It's like, ah. So no, I don't like history. Ah, God, I'm a science girl. I love science. So, but I had trouble with the history because I'm like, God, I gotta teach these kids history. I'm like, it sucks. So what I started doing was, instead of doing the same old nonsense that the public schools do, of, let's learn about George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, and let's it's like, okay, great, whatever, then Columbus, it's like, I taught them about Columbus, but I taught them the truth about Columbus, and they don't teach you that in public school most of the times, I should say. I should not take that back. A lot of public schools and a lot of teachers do not teach that, but I have to say kudos to one of my son's high school teachers, because my son did tell me that after he taught the required history lesson, that the teacher did let them know that okay, this is what I'm supposed to teach you, but the real deal is this, and a lot of the kids, which was surprising, a lot of the kids knew and some kids didn't know. So kudos to you. I'm not going to shout you out in here, but kudos to you. So there are good teachers out there. There are good teachers who want to fully educate a person and not just, force feed the BS to kids, so that way they could just, continue to just be drones in the system and not think for themselves. So that's why I like homeschooling, because like I said, when I teach history, I don't just do the whole watered down stuff. I'm teaching it all, so that way they can understand. And it's not to, put down, not to, when I talk about Columbus, not like, he was such an evil man. Look at this evil, man who came here and he thought the Native Americans were just so Gentile and soft and that he could take advantage of them, and he did all these vile things to them, and oh, he's just so disgusting. And it's like, no, it's like, let's learn from this. This is history can be, and just homeschooling is not just about teaching a subject. Homeschooling is learning about life, learning all aspects of life. And again, I can't speak for other homeschoolers, because, there might be other homeschoolers out there who'll be like, oh my God, I could never teach my child that, the truth about Columbus, I'll just keep it all dainty and cute. And, I teach them all, I went to midwifery school, so I have midwifery books. My girl asked me, why are you bleeding, mommy? And I'm like, okay, well, I'll tell you why. And I don't use like, well, this is your hoo-hoo and this is your honey and it's like, no, this is, this is your vulva, and inside there's your vagina, and inside there's a little house called the uterus, and then they have the ovaries and the fallopian tubes, and then then mommy and daddy, if we don't get together and do mommy and daddy things, intercourse, then then like all that stuff builds up to have a baby, and then it's nutrients because it needs to nourish the baby. And so I don't water down anything. I tell my kids the truth, because I want them to, like I said, the truth shall set you free. And there is nothing wrong with the truth, especially when it's given and delivered in love. So that's my homeschool journey. And I have learned so much more in homeschooling than I can ever teach and educate my children on. And I have learned patience. I didn't have any patience. The last person I thought was going to be able to homeschool was me, because my kid, when he was in public school, he would come home from school with homework, and I would just be out of my mind that he couldn't figure out how to do like a math problem or something. I'm like, are you kidding? I'm like, they taught this in school. Why don't you understand this? I'm like, there's nothing wrong with your brain, so you're just trying to mess with me. So yeah, I didn't have any patience at all. I was like, I turned into like the Wicked Witch of the West when it came to homework time. When my poor son, he would come home. This is like, oh my God, like decades ago. Like, why? But yeah, man, homeschooling has taught me a lot of, I would say too, like when you go into this, besides just relaxing, really just relax, take a deep breath, and don't think about, don't think about the concepts of school, of public school, because it's totally different. And the only difference, like I said, yes, you are learning, and there's some families who still do that whole like, okay, well, we're going to set up a classroom and we have desks for you to sit at, and we're going to do the whole like school thing, but you're just going to do it at home. But it is so much more than that. So if that's what you're doing in your homeschool, I mean, you can even try it for like a summer to change it up a little bit. And you'll see how much more you will grow as a teacher and as an educator. And I feel like teacher and educator is just like so like limiting in explaining your role. But it's like like you're a mentor, you're mentoring, you are a provider, you're a provider of experiences as a homeschooling parent. So it's not, you know, oh, I'm teaching my child. No, you're providing experiences for your kids. So what kind of experiences do you want to provide them? Do you want to just, you know, sit on a hard desk in a corner and, you know, and have timers and like, okay, gotta finish this work. This, you know, we're almost on next subject. Okay, great, school's done. You know, it's like if you're doing that, that's like such a disservice to homeschooling and to yourself and to your child. You know, if that's the only way that you know how to do it, you know, I understand that some people they're like, I have to do it this way because if I don't, then, you know, nothing's gonna get done, and, you know, and I understand that as well. So you have to know yourself too. You know, you have to know yourself and know your strengths and know that your strengths through this process are going to change. You know, like I said, when I started this journey, I was like the Wicked Witch of the West. And that was before even, actually, that was way before I even started homeschooling. So I just grew as a parent, and then I grew to the point that I had my first daughter, and then I knew, and I was calmer, and then I knew, like, okay, I'm ready to do this. I can handle this. But I knew that I couldn't do this whole eclectic, you know, living books, life, you know, Charlotte Mason, blah, 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 schooling. I couldn't do any of that. I needed to have somebody hand me the entire full thing and say, just read the instructions. Because these books, like the one that I used was, I actually joined Alpha Omega Academy. They have a whole section, like they have Alpha Omega Publications, which is not through the Academy. I know it's two separate things, but I actually joined the Academy because I wanted the teachers, I wanted somebody to tell me step by step what I'm supposed to do. And I wanted the curriculum, so I used their Horizons curriculum, everything, Horizons, health, English, math, you know, science, everything, the art. I used all of their stuff because it explained, like they had the teacher's guide, and it would say like, okay, this is what you say and this is how you can expand on it and this is what you do. And, you know, so it was, it was so easy to do that literally I didn't even have to plan anything. I can open up the book that day, right, with her right in front of me, and just like read it like I was a teacher. I'm like, okay, so what do you think? Oh, let me show this. So I did that for the first year. But yeah, so just really just get rid of it. And it might take some time to get rid of that concept and that idea of, you know, public school. What is schooling? What is schooling? Is, you know, get that idea out. You know, oh, I have to do, you know, math, English, history, science. You know, I have to do this and I have to do that. You know, it's like, no, you don't have to do anything. Especially when they're younger, you know, there's ways you can still incorporate all those subjects without having to do each specific subject. You know what I'm saying? Like what I just said in talking about like reading the book. You can just sit with your child and read amazing books. There are so many wonderful books out there. You can, you know, get wonderful books, living books that you could just sit and read to your child. And you could take a book that has like 50 pages in it and end up going through this book in a month, because you can read just maybe like 2 or 3 pages a day. And in those 2 or 3 pages, there's going to be immense vocabulary. So there's going to be vocabulary, there's going to be spelling. And again, this is all, I'm talking about I'm talking schooling from nursery through high school. There's going to be vocabulary, there's going to be spelling, there's going to be hearing, so, you know, phonics. There's going to be comprehension, understanding the world outside of yourself from another person's point of view. Just, you know, exploring their creativity through literature is just, it's so rich, and I can't talk greatly enough about it. You know, but that's something that we just started doing more of. And I'm just hooked. I am hooked. I wish that we did this sooner. You know, so there's lots of ways that you can, like I said, and then on the page. Hey folks, I had to take a momentary break there because my phone died. Ah, goodness. But getting back to this subject, So you might hear the term deschooling, and that's where when I was saying to kind of just like relax and get out of the mindset of a public school concept and, just throw away your ideas of what schooling is supposed to be, because homeschooling is just so broad and so rich if you let it be broad and rich. It's just a wonderful experience for your children and for yourself if you don't limit yourself. If the term is deschooling, so you might hear that in the homeschool community that, I have to deschool my kids. I just took them out of public school and I have to deschool them. So I had to do that with my son because he was in public school most of his life. So when he came home to homeschool, he had the whole public school system and the way in his mind. So I said, okay, we're gonna go over your schedule. So he was sitting there waiting for me just to give him a schedule. I gave him a blank piece of paper and I'm like, okay, well, write down your schedule. And he's like, well, what's this for? What do you mean my schedule? Aren't you supposed to give me my schedule? I'm like, no. So you tell me what you're interested in. What are you interested in? What do you want to learn? What excites you? I said, I can figure out the rest and how to incorporate that in there, but that's our main thing. Our main focus is having you grow into the fullness and the richness of the person that you're supposed to be, not the person I want to make you, So he was just like, okay, this is so different. I don't know what to do. I don't even know what I like because I was always told what to do, so you have to end up deschooling your kids a lot of times if they went to public school. Like our two daughters have never been to public school, so they don't know. They homeschooled their whole life, and they have plenty of activities out there. Okay, so deschooling. Let me go back. And then the other thing that I would suggest people who are thinking about homeschooling is really think if this is what you want to do. And I know it's hard to imagine because you've never done it, so you're like, well, I don't know if it's what I want to do because I've never tried it. But you obviously have an idea that you're home with your kids 24/7. You're doing everything with your children. And then you also, providing experiences of various types for your children as well. So you already know that. So if that's not something that you don't think that you can handle, but you have to know yourself. So know yourself. The next thing I would say is to know yourself and what you're capable of doing, and know if this is really, really like deep in your soul, in your heart, that's something that you want to do for yourself and for your children and your family. That would be the beginning start. Don't look at curriculum. Don't look at, co-ops and programs and all that jazz, and don't go to sites. Don't start asking questions because you're just going to get even more overwhelmed and more crazed about what is it you're supposed to do and where you're supposed to start. Just start there. Just take out that concept of public school out of your head. Deschool yourself, deschool your children. Know if this is really what you want to do. Is this something I'm passionate about this. I am so passionate that I know that I need to be homeschooling my kids. It doesn't even matter the reason why, because everybody, like I said, everybody's reasons are different. Some people's reasons could be, religious reasons, could be, just they see the way that the world is going and they don't like what they're teaching in the public schools. It could be just that, public schools are just teaching for a test. They're not really providing experiences for children anymore, like the way that they used to when we were in school. It could be whatever your reasons are. Those are your reasons, and that's okay. That's fine. And, they don't even have to be shared with anybody. Because, I know some people will be like, well, why do you homeschool? What's it, why are you homeschooling? Oh, I don't want to homeschool my kids. Like, okay, good for you. I wouldn't want to be you. So, great. There we go. I guess we can move on now. I couldn't be with my kids all day. Like, it's like, well, the whole way that I look at it, it's like, you know, public school's not your daycare either. They're not supposed to be teaching your kids your ABCs. That's not how it was. When all this started, you know, the parents, the people in the house were teaching the kids the ABCs and how to read and write and all this other stuff and life lessons and everything like that. You know, Johnny would go with Daddy to work, and when they were young back in the day, and, you know, or go, if they were farmers, or go out in the field and they would work and they would learn about life and, you know, do community stuff, and they just did life together. And that's what we want to get back to. That's what, when I say we, that's what my husband and I wanted to get back to. We wanted to get back to our, you know, our life is, our kids are going to learn from our life. You know, we don't want them to be so far removed from us and from life that they don't understand what life and living is about. And so that's what our homeschool is. You know, our homeschool, I love being around my kids. And yeah, I'm human. There's days where I'm like, oh my God. I mean, it's less now, which is great, you know, but like, you know, 5 years ago, you know, my husband even brings it up. He's like, yeah, he's like, you're doing so great as a homeschool, you know, as a mom, homeschool mom is just so wonderful. He's like, do you remember that time when you like threatened our daughter to take her to public school? You know, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I did do that, didn't I? I'm like, cause yeah, you know, at the beginning, you get so frustrated because you don't have any time. I'm sorry, erase that. You feel like you don't have time for yourself if you don't plan your days right, which, as you know, my years go on, I'm getting better and better at organizing and at planning, because they're the same 24 hours in a day that a homeschool mom has, or even just a mom, just a stay-at-home mom, the same 24 hours a day that a mom has, or a parent, forgetting even mom, I'm sorry for all the wonderful stay-at-home dads and single dads that are out there, scratch that. For all of you parents out there, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Some of us complain that we don't have enough time to make dinner or clean the house, or, you know, time for themselves. Other people create billion-dollar businesses like Donald Trump and many other people, entrepreneurs out there who've created highly successful businesses in the same 24 hours that we all have. So, you know, some people do it and just some people like to complain. Which one do you want to be? So if you want to do it, then come on and join us on this homeschool journey. And like I said, just dive into yourself, because it's about yourself. It's not about your kids, because you are their mentor. You are going to be the person who is going to provide the experiences for them. So if you are not the kind of person who likes to go out, or who's more introverted and all of that stuff, you're going to end up having to really grow as a person so you can provide the best opportunities for your kids. So this is, like I said, this is homeschooling. I'm going to debunk all, you know, a lot of people's views on what they thought homeschooling was, because it ain't it. Look at me. I'm not like some, you know, okay, well now I maybe am a country hick, but like, all right, so we live in the mountains. But we were city slickers before. We were city slickers when we started homeschooling. So, all right? So you can't say that I'm some country bumpkin, and that's why I homeschool. So I'm like, you know, a tattooed, ex-piercing chick who homeschools and stays home with her kids. And you can too. All right. So for you for you folks out there who are thinking about homeschooling, seriously, just sit down with yourself with a notepad and just think about why. Think about why you want to homeschool. Are you really passionate about it? You know, and then just I would even write down the ideas that you have of what schooling is supposed to be like. Hi, Vivian.
If you like this video, please give you a thumbs up.
Oh, yay! I give you a thumbs up. Mwah, love you, pups. That was so good. So I couldn't say it any better than that. So per the boopy, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, comment. I would love to hear everybody's views and what they're thinking and their thoughts. Is you know, again, it all helps me too. So love to hear, love to hear and share and connect with you. And if you are not part of us, and please subscribe and share and spread the joy, and spread the love, spread the knowledge. All right, everybody, have a blessed and wonderful evening. Peace out from the mountains of Colorado.